All right, so welcome to the first video. In this one, we're just going to do a quick overview of WordPress. A very basic install. I'm not going to install any plugins or anything like that. Just want to give you the back end look and feel and just explain some of the things that you need to be aware of. So if you're already familiar with WordPress, this is probably not going to be that helpful for you, so you can probably skip this video. But if you're new, this would be like the foundational videos, series of videos that I'm going to make that might be helpful in order to get accustomed to the overall WordPress ecosystem. So let me jump into my WordPress setup. So I have a WordPress site already installed, and I don't want to get into the details of how you would go about doing it because majority of the hosting companies will provide you a one-click installation of WordPress. So whatever hosting company that you go with, it might be just a couple of different ways to access it, but overall they'll install this for you. And once it's installed, once the WordPress setup is installed, you can log in and it will take you to the administrative backend. So this is currently version 6.1.1. Today's the 1st of 2023, and that's the latest version that we have available. Once you are logged in, you'll notice that you have a side menu here that gives you a whole bunch of settings. Up on top, you have what is called an admin menu bar, and it tells you who the user is, the logged in user, and you can edit and log out. So let's actually go over to the user section first. So you'll see I have my username, and I'm going to click on that. And here, this gets a little confusing, but this part right here, I never understood the reason why this needs to be there. So just ignore the top three items here. You'll notice here you can display your name. We'll get into all of that. The important part is what the user level is. So as admin, you want to see when you're creating a user or when you're logged in, what type of role a user has. So WordPress has a whole bunch of different roles that come pre-built. So I am right now administrator role, and further on we'll look at the different roles that come with this setup for you, so you can manage your team, or if you're working with other person who's going to be managing your website, what kind of role that they need. So first thing I wanted to say was, this is where you would manage your users and, give access to users. You can just create a new one, just add new. Here are the different roles: administrator, editor, author, contributor, and subscriber. So this is the one with most access, a little bit less access, a little bit less than that. Contributor and subscriber is the least. It's more like the logged in user who can do commenting. Again, not to get into nitty gritty of it, just want you to be aware that there are these user roles that come predefined in any WordPress setup. With that said, let's look at some of the other menu items that we have here. So let's go back to the dashboard. Here you'll see a bunch of different statuses that are available to us. These are called widgets here, and within the screen option, you can turn off some of the ones that you need or you don't want. So like, let's say events and news you're not interested in. If I check that, let me turn that on again. So this is WordPress events and news. If you want to clean it up, you would just uncheck that, and that gets hidden there. And this is per user, it's not site-wide. So the next one is when you have plugins and they need some updates, or if WordPress needs an update, you'll go to that part right there. I'm going to skip these right now, and I'll just go over to settings and review the settings part first, and then I'll come back to the bigger concept of the content. So when you set up the website, the site title and the tagline is used for your SEO purposes. So it's good idea to configure that first. And if you don't have the time zone selected, select the time zone. Just some very basic stuff that you need to be reviewing. The most important one, I believe, is the reading part, where you want to discourage search engines from indexing if this is a brand new site that you're still working on and you don't want the search engine to, like Google, to come and index your web pages. So you will want to discourage search engines from indexing your website, save it, and let's move on to the next part, the discussion part. Again, not that important initially. The one important setting that you should configure is the permalinks. So by default, it defaults to this setup here, where when you create pages, it will go create the page with that type of URL. So that looks clumsy, not really helpful, not good for your SEO in general. So you want to select the post name, which would be just the sample post. I'm seeing the WP here because I have it set up in a different directory. So that's why you're seeing that part. But most likely for your website, you would not have that. It would just be sample post. So that's the setting you want in general, unless you have a very specific need. So with that, there's one other item I just want to review and we'll wrap this up, and that is the media. So again, WordPress comes with some defaults, and it comes with 3 different sizes. So when you upload an image, it will create 3 additional variations of that image in these sizes, and it will organize your content into a month and year. This, if you have a larger site, can be useful, or if you have a smaller site, depending again on your use case, it might be better to turn that off and have everything under one folder and use a different plugin to manage all your media assets, rather than have them in this format where every time you load something, if I load something today, it would be in 23/1, and that's where the media will reside. And if you want to manage larger amounts of media, then it can become a little bit harder. So again, it depends on your use case. But in general, if you have a basic blogging website that you're building, you might not want to do that. You might just want everything in just one folder and then use virtual folders to manage your media assets. So that's the overall review of the settings. You'll notice on the left-hand side that we have posts, media, and pages. So these are what you would call content types, or custom post types, if you will. Like if you're in WordPress terminology, posts are considered your content type. Media is a type of content type, and pages is a type of content type. And these come default with every WordPress installation. So again, the majority of the times, the posts address your blogging needs. The pages address your, about us services, and your homepage addresses that. The media obviously goes on any of those content types. And if you have any additional requirements, like if you are a graphic designer and you want to have a portfolio of your work, then you might want to create a portfolio content type. Or if you're a photographer, you might want to create again a portfolio content type for your photography collection. So again, depending on your needs, you might want to customize the setup. So we're talking about customization based on your need, but by default, it comes with your post, which is your blog post, and then it comes with pages, which is your default pages. And the way we set that up is in our settings area. I'm going to go back to that. So this setting right here decides how your front end of the website looks like. We'll get into that in my next video. We'll call it a day for this one, and hope you liked it. If you found value from a beginner perspective. If this was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Talk to you soon.